be a great people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, their capacity for good. I have sent them you, my only son.
Hey, Expedite, you're now rocking with your boy KLWarX Kal-El, the last son of Planet Xbox, and you're listening to Super Podshots. Hey, man, I had a great week. It was a lot of fun. A lot of things popped off. I got invited to the Windows 10 release event in New York City, which was really cool. I want to shout out a few people before I get started. Got a chance to hang out with Tim Dog again. You know, we met up at E3 for the first time, so it was really cool to see him. K Alex, my boy Alex, what up? AKA Scratch, as well as Geo and Doug. Really cool to meet guys that you talk to every day on Twitter, and you finally get to see them in person, and you know, just group up, chat, talk about Xbox, talk about Windows. Is really cool, as well as chatting with Yusef Mehdi, Xbox Quick, and of course Major Nelson. You know, which the funny thing about talking with Major Nelson was that I introduced him to my wife, and he spoke to her for a longer time than he spoke with me. It was hilarious, but yeah, it was cool. But yeah, man, I'm gonna jump right in. So I got this crazy thing that happened. Kamiya, if you don't know who PG Kamiya is on Twitter, Kamiya is the creator and developer and director of Scalebound, the game that is releasing, the exclusive that is coming to Xbox One, and that will be being shown on August 4th at Gamescom for the Microsoft conference. Big title, one of my most anticipated titles that can come out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. But he was pissed off, man. He was hot, and I mean, he was going ham on Microsoft, like for real, going ham on Twitter. And he was upset because Microsoft obviously wants him to come to Gamescom's conference, and he doesn't want to go to the conference. Well, at least if he does go, he doesn't want to go and be on stage showing off the game or being a talking head to the media. And obviously, you're looking at it from the perspective of, you have this respected developer who has made some really awesome classic games, from the Devil May Cry to the Wonderful 101, Beautiful Joe, Bayonetta. Like, there's a lot of games that I don't know if he made Bayonetta, actually, and I think about it, I'm not sure, but the guy has developed a lot of awesome games that we played throughout the years. Vanquish, platinum games, they've done well, and everyone's looking forward to Scalebound, so they want him on stage. He is pissed. I mean, he deleted a lot of the tweets, but I mean, he literally was just like, Microsoft is effing with me, and I can't believe this, and these guys are effing idiots, and like, he was just going to cram, and he put it in the public, and it was kind of unprofessional. A lot of Xbox fans, didn't really appreciate it. To be honest with you, a lot of Xbox fans don't like him anyway. Whatever the reasons are, a lot of times he blocks people. People know that he blocks people. That's just what he does. It doesn't really matter. It's not like he discriminates against Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft guys. He just blocks whoever gets on his nerves or says things wrong. Or you can even say something right, which in my case happened with me. So obviously he goes on this rant about Microsoft, and I feel like I want to interject and say a few things. So I say to him, I go, Kamiya, I understand where you're coming from. I really do, because obviously when you are a developer, you don't really care for PR. You know what I'm saying? You don't really care about talking to the media to explain how your games. You just want people to see your games and put it out there, and you're a gamer, you're a developer. I get that. But the reality of it is that what I said to him was that I can understand that, where you're coming from, but who could better explain the game than its creator? It's a lot of Xbox gamers' most anticipated games. That's all I said. That's literally all I said. Blocked on retweets, blocked on faves. It's just so funny. And what was really cool in that sequence was that I actually had a Japanese person. I don't know exactly who he is. I've never seen him before. But he actually came to TiC Podcast's defense. And the character, or shall I say, the guy on Twitter, his name was what was his name? His name was Osaka Star Fox fan. And you know, he really looked out for us, and it was really cool, man, because he didn't have to do that. And he said Kamiya don't block them. You know, these guys are really tight with the Xbox team and things like that. And you know, look, man, at the end of the day, I don't care. It's cool, it's fun. You know, Kamiya's upset, but I just feel like man, the guy just needs to just relax and go on vacation, something, because it just doesn't make any sense to have so much anger over something so trivial. And I really look forward to Scalebound. And I know it's hot because some kid said something to him today, and like this guy has like no F's whatsoever about talking to fans in the public. And the guy's like, yeah, well, you know, Scalebound is probably not going to be good anyway. And he turns around and responds, I bet you it's going to be better than your life, in English. And I was just like, wow. I was like, wow. I said, did he just say that Scalebound was going to be better than this kid's life? This guy is epic. I just take it as a joke, man. You know, look, I don't think, you know, what the guy does is anything personal. It's just his personality. It is what it is. I find it funny. But still, he could turn off a lot of fans that way. It's not good for Platinum. It's not good for Microsoft. It's not good for anybody that he works with, whether it's Nintendo or Sony as well. If you continually block fans and, you know, diss them and things like that, maybe he should just get rid of his Twitter. Honestly, because he doesn't really answer questions anyway. I just find it funny. I just find looking at his Twitter feed amusing, and it was just interesting to see him respond and block me and respond to other people in different ways. It's just hilarious. But yeah, man, Scalebound's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be a big title, and I'm hoping, from what Ken told me, and obviously some of the tidbits that he released over the course of the year, that it lives up to his name. Now, we just got news from one of the, I believe, executive producers, or one of the head dudes over at Remedy, that Quantum Break is going to have a lot of game coverage. So I don't know how long Quantum Break is going to be shown, but they have a lot of content that they're going to be showing at Gamescom. So it looks like they're going to be focused on Quantum Break a lot, because Quantum Break is releasing early in 2016. You know, we're finally starting to get these games throughout the year, starting in 2016, in the beginning of the year, with Quantum Break and Recore. At least Recore is scheduled to release this in early 2016, which I kind of find it funny, because it's like, you know, speaking to Phil, he was like, hey, you know, I played Recore. The game is playable, but you're not showing it off, and the game is supposed to release early next year. So when are you going to show it off is the question. You know, obviously his answer before that was that, you know, they're not showing it off because it just takes away development time. You know, having to make a cut of a game and play the demo or show the demo off live, it just takes time away from actually developing the game and getting it out to the public. So I get that. Maybe next year they will show it off at GDC, running on DX12, or maybe they'll show it off at a Windows event, or maybe they may have an Xbox event, who knows. But hopefully we get a chance to see this game before it comes out, and we can have a better idea of what we will be playing with Recore, because that's another game that I'm looking forward to. That is very exciting indeed. So obviously China Joy just is passing this past week, and Phil was out there, and I was chatting with him on Twitter, asking him to bring, you know, CRPGs to the West. You know, I mean, like, we're not getting any JRPGs exclusively. Why not we try to get some CRPGs exclusively over here in the West? And you know, he had tweeted out that he spoke to a lot of Chinese developers, and in speaking to them, a lot of them are interested in bringing their games to the West. And the problem that I see with that is, the thing about China is that China is really, really, really big into PC games. They play a lot of MMOs. They have, it's almost kind of like Japan, where they have these internet cafes, and you have guys going there and they're on these things and they're all just the internet. And then you have guys at home as well, and they're playing these MMOs and stuff. So there's a lot of MMOs that can cross over and come over to the United States, as well as Europe, UK, and things like that. So that would be interesting to do. I know there's some fans out there that would prefer something else, maybe action, maybe a single player offline RPG or whatever. But my thing is that, like, if you have exclusives over there in China, you need to bring them over here, because it's great having these, Western games, and Microsoft has an abundance of Western games. I think that Microsoft really needs to, because they're losing terribly in Japan, and the Japan support is mostly for Nintendo and PlayStation, being that they are really, besides PlayStation, the only console in that market, they have an opportunity, if they have exclusive deals over there, to bring those exclusives to the Xbox One. They maybe want to focus on China more than they want to focus on Japan, because in China, they've actually sold more consoles in China than they've sold in Japan. I think in Japan, they haven't even cracked 100,000 consoles. They're still around 50,000. In China, I heard they broke 100,000. So I think that, neither one is spectacular, because in China it's like I said, it's the PC market. But the reality of it is that if you have exclusive games over there, you should definitely try to get these guys to bring those games to the West, because I think the problem Microsoft has isn't that we don't have diverse games, is that we don't have diverse cultural games. And what I mean by that is obviously Japanese RPGs, or Japanese games in general, besides multi-plats, of course. And for me, the multi-plat is cool. But when I talk to Phil, or I talk to Ken about bringing, RPGs from Japan over to the West, I'm not talking about bringing Final Fantasy 14. I'm not talking about bringing, multi-platform games. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But there has to be something that supports the Xbox gamer exclusively, like, hey, we have this JRPG and it's fire and you can only get it on the Xbox One. I know a lot of guys don't like that, like, why can't it be multi-platform? But listen, the cool thing about Japanese games is that they're different. They have a different style. There's a different centric behind it, and in my opinion, even though the Japanese developer market isn't as big as it was in the 90s and early 2000s and things like that, it's kind of gotten a lot smaller. You have companies falling off, companies going mobile. It's just not as big as it was. There's still some titles out there that make a lot of noise. I play Star Ocean on 360. Dragon Quest was something that I played a lot back in the day on Nintendo's platform. And not being able to play those unless I go out and buy those consoles is a little bit disappointing. But also, we've had our own JRPGs and Lost Odysseys and Blue Dragons and Infinite Discovery, Tales of Vesperia. I really feel like there should be some way that Microsoft either, in my opinion, opens up their own Japanese studio, which I've said this plenty of times, or try to figure out a way to, communicate with these developers to bring some of these games over to the Xbox platform, because the appeal is just it isn't there. It's just not there over in Japan. I just feel like if Microsoft could just nip this in the bud, if they just made a Japanese studio. I don't know if that's possible. Japan has certain rules, certain laws. Like, we had the whole thing where it was like, Microsoft, go out, buy Capcom. Microsoft, go out, buy Sega. But the reality of it is that an American company or an outside company can't buy a Japanese company. I believe that's one of the main rules in Japan, is that it can't be purchased. Now, you can buy shares in a company. I think you can have up to half of the company, but you can't outright own the company. Or you can have like 49% of the company, but you can't have 51. And I think that's just a cultural thing. That's something that they keep within Japan as legacy. You know, one of those type of things. Whereas in America or UK, you know, you can get bought out by anybody. And it usually happens that way. Outside sources by American, European, you know, conglomerates and things like that. When these things start to go downhill, they go bankrupt or they merge with another company. So I think that Microsoft should start their own studio in Japan. And I think they should hire Japanese developers. And I think that they should recruit guys who maybe want a fresh start. Maybe people who are under the Kojimas and the Kamiyas and things like that. And the Itsusakis and things like that. And have those guys come in and start bringing in their own original ideas and their own original content and start producing games for the Xbox platform. It may not be appealing in that way, but I mean, if you're a developer, you want to make games regardless. And no matter how you look at it, you know, Microsoft still has a large install base in the two largest markets, which is the United States and the UK. So I think that that would be a great idea if they were able to do that. Whether or not that comes to fruition, I couldn't tell you, but I think that would be a great idea. Something that I would like to reiterate to Phil when I get an opportunity to talk to him. So obviously China Joy is out there and Phil is out there doing his thing, you know, showing off games for the Xbox platform. People were in awe looking at Recore. And something came up during the show because obviously Windows 10 just launched yesterday. And one of the things is that Microsoft Edge can do cloud gaming. And I don't mean like streaming from Xbox to your laptop or PC. No, I mean like on live, like PS Now, through your web browser, HTML5 cloud gaming. Now, this is big. This is big. I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't talk about this. Microsoft has this technology that they're really not bringing up. And a lot of fans obviously don't think Microsoft is doing anything in the space. But, you know, they actually are doing something in the cloud space. And I think that if this works out where they could get this implemented with the Xbox 360, and let's say at the end of the life cycle of the Xbox 360, you can have the entire Xbox catalog up in the cloud, and you can stream these games on, you know, maybe xboxlive.com or, you know, xbox360.com or whatever it is that they're going to have for the streaming service. That would be humongous. That would be huge. And I think what Microsoft is trying to do with this whole Windows 10 and Xbox thing, which is a concern for myself as well as a lot of fans, is that they're just trying to give people as much access to Microsoft software as much as possible. And in doing so, they again may hurt the platform, but I feel like they won't hurt the platform because you still have your Halos, your Forzas, your Gears of Wars on the Xbox One platform exclusively on the console. So if you want to play those big titles, you have to get the console. But yeah, they've been working with a company called Ubitus, and they have been streaming games to the Windows 10 via HTML5. And what's really cool about it is that this was actually being done at China Joy. Why this wasn't being done at E3, I don't know. But I think because of the simple fact that, you know, again, China is PC towns, a PC country is really, it really is like, it's really big in China. I think showing this off in China is really appealing maybe to the Chinese install base, and that might be something that they could look into in the future when it comes to cloud streaming games across the Xbox One or across Xbox 360 back catalog stuff via the cloud. My thing is, if you're gonna do that, just make sure that I can stream my games via the cloud that I own from my Xbox One, which I think would be the smart thing to do. Right now, you have Xbox One and you have Windows 10 streaming in the house off of a router. You don't even have to have the internet connected. You just need to have the two platforms connected via Wi-Fi or hardline to your router. So your Xbox could be online, connected to the wireless router. You could be downstairs on your laptop, tablet, phone, no, not phone, but laptop or tablet. And as long as your tablet hook up to Wi-Fi, you can stream your games from your Xbox to your device and play it. But, you know, our concern is, well, what if we leave the house? What if we go, you know, to another state and things like that? They don't have a solution for that. This cloud service could be that solution. It could be the solution where you are able to play the games that you own digitally, streamed across the country to you via the cloud. And if you could do that for free, that's already another plus. That's already another plus, because not only do you own the game, you're doing it for free. Just like backwards compatibility was free. I think Microsoft is onto something with this free stuff. I really do. I think they're onto something, though, with allowing gamers to have access to the games they own despite the platform that it's on. I still really hope that games like Scalebound, Crackdown, Recore, and anything else that they show up at Gamescom is Xbox console only. But that's around the corner. That's something that we'll have to wait for. So it's interesting to find out that they are doing cloud streaming, and I can't wait to see exactly what it turns out to be, because right now it's just mostly, I won't say speculation, but it's just mostly I guess in a testing phase to see where it sits. So Gamescom's right around the corner, man. It's right around the corner, and like I said before, you're gonna have a lot of stuff coming off at Gamescom. You got Quantum Break with a lot of content that's going to be shown off. You got Scalebound going to be shown off. You got Crackdown going to be shown off. But there's supposed to be some surprises. And one of the things that may be a big surprise is this talk of PC streaming to the Xbox One. A lot of fans want this reverse option, and one of the things that I've been reading is that it's kind of hard to code for PC titles to work on the Xbox platform via controller, and that would be something that developers would have to do, or Microsoft would have to help them do in a way, because everything is built for keyboard and mouse, and not really built or coded to stream to the Xbox One and be worked out with the Xbox One system and the controller. So it would be a really interesting dynamic if suddenly they show up and they're like, hey, guess what? We told you about, you know, backwards compatibility earlier, about a month ago. We talked about streaming Xbox One to PC in the beginning of the year, and now you can stream PC to your Xbox One. That's huge. I don't think people understand how big that is. It doesn't seem big if you are a PC gamer, if you have a 50-inch television hooked up to your rig, or if you have you know, multiple screens around your laptop and things like that, and you got this amazing setup. That's not big, but for the guy like me who don't play PC, that maybe want to get on Steam or maybe wants to get into PC gaming, I'm not the type of person that's going to pick a keyboard and mouse and just start learning how to play PC games. That's not what I do. I'm not a PC gamer. However, there's a lot of cool games on PC that if I could use with a controller and play on my 50-inch plasma, I would definitely do it. So I think that is really cool that if, say, for example, something like Stalker was available, I could buy Stalker, stream it from PC, and play it on my Xbox One. I think that's an amazing thing. I think that's huge, and that gives me the option to play PC games now as well as Xbox One games now, and I think that's cool that they're doing that. Hopefully that's one of the surprises, or it could be PT. Now, I don't mean in PT as far as what PlayStation had, but I do mean Silent Hill, or maybe it's not Silent Hill, it could be something brand new. Recently, there was news that Kojima and Del Toro are still working together on a project. Obviously, that project may not be Silent Hill. There's no word of Microsoft buying Silent Hill from Konami. There's no word that Konami sold Silent Hill. But there is word that Del Toro and Kojima are working on a project. They are continuing a project. We don't know what it is. Now, that was supposed to release on the PlayStation. What if Microsoft figured out a way to get these guys to make a different type of game but release it on the Xbox One? you know, in a similar fashion. It doesn't have to be exactly what they were going to do with Silent Hill, but maybe they can bring back the Condemned franchise. And I think that would be a franchise that Microsoft could reboot if they worked out. I think Sega owns Condemned. If they worked out something with Sega, brought back the Condemned franchise and had Kojima and Del Toro work on that game, would be excellent. I think that would be an excellent idea. This is one genre Microsoft is very weak in, is the survival horror genre, along with hack and slash and the Japanese RPG. I won't say RPGs because they have plenty of RPGs, obviously Western and MMOs, but Japanese RPG, the hack and slash genre, and the survival horror. So I think that if they did something like that, you work with Condemned, you bring Del Toro, you get Kojima, you know, you reboot the franchise and things like that. I think that would be really cool. Be honest with you, they probably should just buy the IP if they could. I think that's what I would do, unless they just have them doing some original stuff, which would be even better. Because not only then are you getting two great creators in their own genres, Kojima in gaming and Del Toro in movies. You now have a new IP in the horror genre, which you don't have. So that's an interesting dynamic. I'm really looking forward to what Microsoft shows off at Gamescom. There's clearly going to be not just video games and you know, that type of content. There's definitely going to be some type of feature update or some feature surprise that Microsoft is going to talk about. You know, it could be the PC to stream it thing. It may not be, but it could be something else. In my opinion, I just want Movie Party back so I could watch movies with my buddies. I think that's such an awesome feature. I don't know why they haven't brought that back yet, but they need to figure it out and bring Movie Party back as soon as possible. But, you know, like I said, that's neither here or there. Hopefully we see some more stuff just besides games, maybe some more future IPs. We know Twisted Pixel is going to be there. We know that Press Play is going to be there, and they're going to have some stuff. So looking forward to August 4th. I can't wait to do the reaction show. Again, guys, if you're interested in doing the reaction show, hit me up. You can hit me up on Xbox Live. Let me know that you want to participate, and I will send you guys a link, and you can join me live on Google Hangout as we watch Gamescom together and chat in the comment section with the fans. You guys listening right now, I want you all to support the upcoming reaction show that we're going to be doing. And everybody comment, join in if you're available to watch Gamescom. It's supposed to be 10 a.m. Eastern time, at least, because I'm on the East Coast, is what time it's supposed to launch. So that would be really cool if that popped off and we were successful in that venture, excuse me. So obviously Windows 10 party, man, had a lot of fun at the Windows 10 party, hung out with some really cool people, you know, talk with Major, talk with Yusef, talk with Mike Cabrera. And because I had such great conversations with them, I was able to book Yusef Mehdi, who is the corporate vice president of Windows and devices. Now, some of you may not know who that person is. I remember, if you think back to when Microsoft was first introduced and they were talking about how the menu started, or the first time you seen the Xbox conference and they were talking about TV, Yusef Mehdi was the man on stage. He is the guy that you see a lot of times when it comes to the design of I won't say the design, but how the operating system works. You know, how that works, the way it functions. He's the guy that's usually demoing it, or he's the guy that's talking about new deals with different companies like NFL or NBA or something like that. So really cool person in person. It was really awesome just chatting with him. He was so interested in coming on the show, especially when he found out I had a Windows phone. He was like, definitely book me for that and everything. So we'll have him on in the fall as well. And of course, speaking with Mike Cabrera, if you guys don't know who that is, Mike Cabrera is a partner director of programming for the Xbox One and things like that. He's been with the company forever. He gives away a lot of games on Xbox Live, and I can't wait to get a chance to talk with Mike, Xbox Quick, on Twitter about, you know, his role in Xbox and how that works out. So look, man, the fall is hot. the fall is hot for TiC Podcast, man. We got AC Bongos at the GDC. No, excuse me. Not GDC, what I'm talking about. AC Bongos at the Gamescom. And that's going to be an interesting conversation because I want to talk about his thoughts on how does he feel Microsoft could make a run at Europe. You know, being that's his territory, being, you know, he is the guy in a social media space that does communications with the fans and is the person who really understands that market, being that's where he's from. I want to see what his thoughts is on that, and hopefully, you know, he'll let us know and give us an idea of how Microsoft can take this approach towards winning the European market, as well as a few obviously history things and stuff like that of how he's been working with Microsoft. And of course, we'll have Ken Lobb part 2. He'll be on the show. He has a great story to tell us about how they got Recore. When I was talking to him about it over in E3, he was like, the way they got the game was just pretty cool. So I can't wait to talk to him about that. And obviously Adam Isgreen, who is also a creative director at Microsoft. He's worked on Killer Instinct. He's also working with Phantom Dust. So maybe we can get a Phantom Dust update. We'll talk to him about those games as well. And then, of course, you have Youssef. We got Mikey Brera. And, of course, Phil Tober, baby. Phil Spencer will be back in October, man. So the big dog will be on. We'll get a chance to chat with him again. It's going to be a different approach this time around. Clearly, we are still for the fans, by the fans. So you just hit us up. Let us know what questions you want us to ask all these guys. And we'll try to get your questions in. And as we have these really cool conversations with the Xbox team. And here's a secret. I've been secretly chatting with Peter Moore from EA, trying to get him on the show. And he actually hit me back and told me he's going to be conversating with PR to get on the show. So, man, that would be really big to have him on. I will get an opportunity to talk with him about EA and get a chance to talk to him about what it was like to run the Xbox division when he was with Microsoft. And man, it's cool, man. It's really cool being in this space and having these guys trust me and being able to talk to these guys for you and get your questions answered. A lot of content. Obviously, we have still trying to work that out to get that out to you guys. So don't worry about that. That will eventually hit the channel. Working on TiC Podcast this weekend as well. Got a lot of interviews coming up that we're going to be booking soon. So you guys stay tuned. Keep it locked. And listen, man, join the website ticgn.com. Let me know if you're definitely interested in joining TiC on the Gamescom live reaction, as we or either go wah wah wah, or we go wow, that's amazing, Xbox is the you know what I'm saying. And then we chat with you guys in the chat area who aren't able to get on video with us in the Google Hangout. So definitely stay tuned to that. Got a lot of content coming up and a lot of interviews coming up, and TiC is back, man. We're doing our thing, making moves and stuff like that, and I really appreciate everybody listening. I will holler at you guys next week. Try to keep it consistent as much as I can, and I'm your boy KLYS Kal, the last on the planet Xbox, and I'm off this planet. Peace.